This is the iPhone 7 Plus running iMovie, and this is the LG G6 running PowerDirector. One thing that you'll instantly notice about iMovie compared to PowerDirector is that it's available in both portrait and landscape, whereas PowerDirector only works in landscape. Both have a similar layout, although on iMovie you scroll up and down, whereas on PowerDirector you can scroll side to side. When opening a project, this page is very similar on both of them. You have these 4 buttons, although in a different layout. The first thing that you'll notice is the watermark on the PowerDirector, because PowerDirector has both a free version and a paid version. This is a free version, whereas iMovie only has a free version. And on the free version of PowerDirector, there is a watermark. These both have somewhat of a similar layout. iMovie is a more minimalist layout. When you scroll through it, you can have the timestamp on PowerDirector, which you do not have on iMovie. Although it is a bit smoother, it would probably be smoother on PowerDirector if you were using a newer phone. These are both using 2016 chipset, back when the speed difference between iPhones and Android phone was a lot more noticeable. Some similarities that are immediately noticeable are the back button or done button in the top left hand corner, the options to add media, you have video, pictures, and audio, as well as the option to capture video or audio, and the iCloud Drive. Here you have Google Drive. There's also the option to add B-roll. On iMovie, simply go to video, you tap on the clip you want to add as B-roll, and you have the option to add overlapping picture-in-picture or side-by-side. On PowerDirector, you can drag around the B-roll footage, resize it, and even rotate it. However, you cannot do this with the main footage. You will have to add this as a third track. Although you can do that, you cannot have a third track in iMovie. You also have the play button on opposite sides, the undo button, the settings, although none of these settings are actually the same thing. This has the audio mixing, which is not available on iMovie, settings, tips, which is right here on iMovie, and tutorials. There are also different kinds of filters on both apps. On iMovie, you get to the filters in settings, and on PowerDirector, it's under effects, although these are of course different filters in both of them. There's also the option to save project or produce video in PowerDirector, which you have to exit the project and produce it here in iMovie. On both apps, you can get extra options by tapping on the video. You can get the option to drag these to trim it, or to split the video through this on iMovie or this on PowerDirector, as well as to delete it. The rest of the options are under here on PowerDirector. You have the option to change the volume between 0% and 500% on iMovie, and 0% and 200% on PowerDirector. Here you also have the audio mixer again, which is not on iMovie. You also have the option to rotate 90 degrees here on PowerDirector, although on iMovie it is done like this. This is slightly harder to do, although you do get to do it in both directions. On PowerDirector, you have the option to color grade, which does not exist on iMovie. You also have the option to change the speed. One advantage of iMovie over PowerDirector is the option to split the audio from the video, which can't be done in PowerDirector. When exporting the video, there are a few more options on iMovie built in, such as AirDrop, the option to add to notes, to add to Google Drive, add to messages, send through mail. You also can only export in up to 720p on the free version. You have to get the paid version to export in 4K, whereas on iMovie, you can export in 4K for free.